What's up, guys? It was the annual Georgia Football Coaches Clinic here in Athens over the weekend, and the best part of the Coaches Clinic every single year is the opportunity to take in a couple of Georgia football spring practices. So with that in mind, I've got some practice notes here for you guys today. We'll get to that in just a minute, but first, just real quickly, I want to remind everyone, if you haven't already and you're a diehard Georgia fan, go ahead, subscribe to this channel right now, like, comment, check us out on social media, at Gloria_UGA on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and definitely don't forget to check out our full podcast wherever you get your podcast for a whole lot more coverage of Georgia football, Georgia baseball, Georgia basketball, Georgia tennis, Georgia everything. What we have here for you on this channel, we try to keep this tight, but there's a lot more content out there for you guys on our podcast. So check that out wherever you get your podcast. But all right, let's get to these practice notes coming out of the Coaches Clinic over the weekend. And look, guys, there's not really any particular rhyme or reason with the order of these notes. That's just kind of what came to me when I got here for you. But I am going to start deliberately at the top with the quarterback position because, as I tell you guys all the time, that is, whatever team you're talking about, the most important position on any football team. There's certainly some intrigue at that position going into the 2025 season for Georgia. Certainly more so than it was last year, like when we knew it was Carson Beck's job, obviously with what he did in 2023. This year, there's a battle of sorts, I guess, if you want to call it that. Obviously, Gunnar Stockton is the leader in the clubhouse for the way that he ended the 2024 season, leading us to that comeback win in the SEC championship game to knock out Texas for the second time last year. And you got the young gun, Ryan Puglisi, who is a redshirt freshman, who is uber talented, uber gifted, but certainly behind from a knowledge of the system standpoint. And that was on full display over the weekend, guys. It is very clear, if it wasn't already clear to people who hadn't had a chance to see practice, that Gunnar Stockton is the guy for Georgia right now, quarterback. That's probably not news to most of you, but it's just kind of reinforcing what I think a lot of people probably thought coming into spring practice. It's still kind of early in spring practice. We're about, I guess, half-ish way through it. Got 2 weeks in now. So that was 6 practices. So a little bit less than halfway through spring practice. But right now, Gunnar is clearly head and shoulders above, just further along than Ryan Puglisi. Now, I will stand by what I said about Puglisi leading into spring practice. We did a series of spring practice primer episodes where I was kind of just previewing different positions and the position battles heading into spring practice. And I did one on the quarterback position because ostensibly, at the very least, there is some semblance of a position battle here. Gunnar, again, certainly had the lead coming into spring practice, and Puglisi was going to have a lot of catching up to do and have to prove to the coaches that he was just clearly the better option for him to take that job. It was a long shot, but I guess there was a shot. So we talked about it as a battle. But what I said on that episode is, like, physically speaking, I have been of the opinion for a while now that Ryan Puglisi is a superior physical specimen to Gunnar Stockton. That doesn't mean, I know when I say that, people like lose their minds. All the Gunnar stands out there. Look, I love Gunnar too, guys. I love Gunnar. People lose their mind, think I'm just like ripping Gunnar. That's not what's happening. I'm just telling you, physically speaking, my opinion is that Puglisi is a better athlete. He has more physical tools than Gunnar has. Not that Gunnar's not a good athlete. Not that Gunnar doesn't have good physical tools. You got to play at Georgia. I just think Puglisi has slightly better physical tools. And that was on display over the weekend. Like, Puglisi physically looks the part. The way the ball comes out of his hands. I mean, the guy, again, Gunnar has a strong arm. Not saying Gunnar has some noodle arm, but Puglisi can just absolutely let the ball rip. But there's still a lot of polishing that needs to go on with Ryan Puglisi. Understanding coverages, diagnosing things, those kind of things, understanding where to go with the football, check downs, even like intermediate stuff. Those are things that Puglisi needs to continue to work on. He's a redshirt freshman, but when he sees it and he uncorks that football, whew, it is a sight to behold. He's a really good athlete. You can do some stuff in the quarterback run game with him, just like you can with Gunnar, but I do think Puglisi is probably a little bit of a better athlete than Gunnar. But it might be a moot point because Gunnar Stockton is just so far ahead right now with his experience in the system. I know he hasn't played a ton, but the little bit that he has played, the small sample size that we have of Gunnar, certainly that sample size grew at the end of last year, is far more experience than what Puglisi has. And one of the reasons you bring Mike Bobo back, I know not everyone loves that, but one of the reasons you do that, probably the dominant reason you do that, is continuity, right? Gunnar has been in this system for 3 years now. And by keeping Mike Bobo on the staff and keeping him in that offense coordinator position, you guarantee that Gunner's going to be running essentially the same offense, maybe some tweaks here and there to kind of fit his skill set, but the terminology is the same, the concepts are the same, and so I think that stability in the coaching staff, that continuity, that just kind of Gunner was already head, but it's just going to make it really difficult, if not impossible, for Puglisi to surpass Gunner this year and win that job. I know not everyone loves to hear that, but hey, as I always say with the quarterback position, I just want what's best for Georgia. I want what's best for Georgia. Puglisi, physically speaking, I think is probably a little bit of a notch above. But you got in the system, man. You've got to know what you're doing out there, or the coaches cannot put you out there. Right now, Gunner is just so clear, head and shoulders above, further along than Puglisi, that I just don't see that changing. Could it change? I guess. Yeah, I mean, we got eight more practices plus G-Day, and you got fall camp to go through. So there's time, but I don't know. I'm of the opinion right now that is Gunner's job to lose, and I don't see him losing that job, certainly in the lead up to the 2025 season. But if you're going to talk about the quarterbacks, you got to talk about the guys they are throwing the ball to, and that might have been the story of the weekend for me. The wide receivers, guys, unreal. Night and day from where we were a year ago. Now, some of that is the new guys we brought in. Some of it is a guy like Colby Young, who was banged up at the beginning of last year, and obviously we know what happened with the legal situation. A guy like him coming back and just being the dude that I thought he could be. So I got to start with Colby Young, man. I know people are excited about Noah Thomas coming from A&M. I'm excited about Noah Thomas. I know people are excited about Zachariah Branch coming in from USC. I'm excited about Zachariah Branch. We'll get to him in a minute. But right now, if I had to pinpoint one guy, like who is the guy for Georgia at wide receiver right now, it's Colby Young. It's Colby Young. And I think there's a number of reasons why. I think you start with the fact that he's not having to catch up with the system the way that guys like Noah Thomas and Zachariah Branch are, right? Coming in from different programs, having to learn our system. Their heads are spinning. They got guys walking around with them, coaches like support staff guys walking around with them, making sure they're there if they need help, if they have questions, try and get these guys up to speed. Same thing going with the young guys. The freshmen, C.J. Wiley and Talon Taylor and Landon Roldan, all those guys look really good too. They all look good. All the receivers look good, guys. That's kind of the point here. But if I had to pinpoint one guy, Colby Young is that guy right now because he doesn't have to learn the system. He did that last year, right? I know he was with the team for about half of the year, but he had all of spring practice. He had all of fall camp, had the first half of last season, came back towards the end of last season, prior to bowl practices. So he's got that experience in the system. He's got the experience with our playbook, and experience with Gunner too. Certainly last year when he came back, when his situation kind of got like somewhat sort of cleared up. He got cleared by our Title IX office here at UGA. When that happened, he came back to practice. Well, he wasn't getting reps with the number ones or even the number twos really, because he wasn't really doing. He wasn't having a chance to play. He had to be fully exonerated for that to happen, and that had not happened at that point. So him and Gunner got some reps in practice, so that certainly helps too. And also, the other thing is he's just a physically talented guy. I mean, the way that some of us are talking about Noah Thomas, I'll throw myself in there. The way I'm talking about Noah Thomas in the lead up to this season as a guy that's big, physical, insane catch radius, like contested catch machine. We were saying the same things. I was saying the same things about Colby Young a year ago, looking at him as a guy that I felt, even though his numbers might not have indicated he had that ability at Miami, if you look at the quarterback situation there's some context, right? So if you contextualize that and you look at just the skill set, the raw talent this guy has, I felt he had the potential to be like a dominant number one X receiver for Georgia, the kind of guy we hadn't had since like maybe George Pickens when he was healthy prior to the 2021 season. So I was high on him coming to last year. I thought he could be that guy for us. We all know what happened, of course, injury in fall camp, and he was kind of slow out the gate because of that, and then the legal situation, all that. But now that all that's behind him, this dude is playing free. He knows what's going on. He's got some continuity with the offense and with Gunner Stockton. That guy is a dude right now. So if we had our first game next week, he would be Georgia's top receiver for sure. I have no doubt saying that. The other guys look good too. Noah Thomas, he's learning, right? Their heads are all spinning right now. They've had 6 practices in a Georgia uniform, but physically, he's there. Like, he is going to be a really, really good football player for us. And then Zachariah Branch. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Zachariah Branch. The dude just moves differently. Like, he's a blur out there, man. And not just like running in a straight line. Yeah, that certainly. But coming in and out of cuts, the guy's dynamic. He's a dynamic athlete. I think we already knew that at USC. My question with him coming into Georgia was, okay, where are you as a receiver? Because coming out of high school, he was an athlete, and he had to learn how to play the receiver position. It was a work in progress for him at USC, but now he's going to year three at the college level, and you're starting to see a guy that light's starting to go off, man. And I know he's got to learn our system, and that's slowing him down a little bit, but just pure athleticism from that standpoint, I don't know if we've got another guy like that right now. The guy just again, just talk about explosiveness, electric with the ball in his hands. I mean, this guy is going to be a big play machine for Georgia this year in some way, shape, or form. We've got to get the ball in his hands. I'm sure that we will, because that guy is going to make plays for us. Another name to throw out here, again, the freshman looked really good too, guys, so they're learning. They did some really good things. But a guy that really caught my eye, Jeremy Bell. And look, if you don't know who that guy is, I don't blame you. This guy was a preferred walk-on. He's a Georgia kid. He's one of these guys. You know, I'm not saying he's going to have like a career Stetson Bennett, a different position, obviously. But he's one of these guys like Stetson Bennett that just chose to stay home, had offers to smaller schools, could have gone elsewhere. I think he was committed to Indiana at one point, could have gone there, but he decided to stay home and take the preferred walk-on spot at Georgia and see if he can work himself into a role there. And if it doesn't work out nowadays, you got the transfer portal, you can go play somewhere else, right? I'm telling you, man, like this guy can play. He is small. Like he's smaller than Zachariah Branch. He's a small dude. But the guy can flat out move. If I'm going to talk about Zachariah Branch, the way he moves differently, I mean, Jeremy Bell is kind of right there, man. But the issue, like I don't know how we're going to get snaps for all these guys. Because he is a slot all the way. I don't see any possibility of him playing any other position. He's like, I don't know, man, like 6 foot maybe. Like a $170. It's like he's small. He's smaller than me. Okay, and I'm not a huge guy. I'm like, my wife says 5'10". I'm going to say 5'11 and a half. That's what the doctor tells me. So we're going to go with that. I don't know if he's bigger than me, man. So I don't know. So, but the guy can play. But you got Zachariah Branch, Sokovie White. Love Sokovie White in the slot. Talon Taylor's also a guy that can play in the slot. Landon Roldan can play in the slot. Well, Landon can also play outside a little bit at Z, and so can Taylor. But man, I mean, Jeremy Bell. I know it's just it's a couple practices here, but the guy can play. He can play. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but at some point, if he sticks around in Georgia, I think that guy might actually find himself on the field and make some big-time plays for Georgia. The other Bell on the team, the guy that you all know and love, Dylan Bell, is playing a lot of running back right now. And that doesn't surprise me. We talked about that in the lead up to the season. We would kind of preview the running back position. We mentioned Dylan Bell could be a guy that gets some more reps there. We know he did that in 2023. By necessity last year, he had to play receiver because we were so banged up. We had off-the-field issues with Robert Thomas and Colby Young. So he had to move from his more natural Z position to X. And he performed admirably there, but he's not really like a dynamic number one X receiver. That's not really what Dylan Bell does. I don't think that's really his skill set. But we know the guy can make plays in the backfield. I've always said that Dylan Bell has got more like a run. He's like a receiver like in a running back's body, more or less. But maybe he's just a running back in a running back's body. Look, we got some guys. We're going to get to the running backs here in a minute. But Dylan Bell was playing some running back, and I think that's a really good fit for him. I don't think he's going to play exclusive running back. I think right now is like we know that he knows how to play receiver, and he was getting some reps at receiver too. Don't get me wrong. But he's playing more running back than maybe even I anticipated. So I'm curious to see if that's just kind of like, okay, we know he knows how to play receiver. He's played X. He's played Z. He's got that down. Do we want to give him more of a package at running back than we had in 2023? There's only a limited package we had with him. Do we want him to get more familiar with playing that position? So just something to watch there. I thought that was a little bit interesting. But speaking of running backs, let's go there next. We talked about Bo Walker last week, so I did an entire video on Bo Walker, and a lot of you watched that, so thank you for checking that out. If you haven't, go check that out, guys. It's not a super long video, but he was a guy that was getting a lot of buzz week one. But I'm here to tell you, man, the buzz is real. I hesitate to hype up freshmen based on a couple of practices, but the guy can straight play. The guy can flat out play. Made a big play on Thursday, long run. I mean, everything I said about him in the video, I don't want to like reiterate all that because you can go watch the video, but the guy, short of quickness, is off the charts. He's fast, not the fastest guy out there, but he's plenty fast enough to break off a long run. He's got that really sudden burst. I love that about his game. He runs with physicality. He's ready to play right now for Georgia. Now, Nate Frazier is still the guy. He is still the dude at running back. And if you didn't already know that, I mean, just the fact that Kirby trotted him out last week for interviews, like that doesn't happen by accident. Kirby doesn't send just random dudes out there. He sends guys out there that he thinks are going to have a big role on this team or are going to take a leadership role, if not in just their room, but even the team at large. And so I think that's pretty revealing there. We all know what kind of talent Nate Frazier has. We saw that on full display last year when he got opportunities. So I'm not telling you to think that Bo Walker is going to surpass Nate Frazier or anything like that. No, none of these guys. I don't anticipate any of that happening. Nate's the guy. But we need more than one guy. We've seen that how many years in a row we had injuries at running back, like multiple injuries at running back, multiple guys go down. So you got to have guys. And when you lose Trevor Etienne and you got Roger Robinson and Brandon Robinson both come back off injuries and you don't know exactly what version of them you're going to get this year, you've got to have guys ready to play in the SEC. You have to have SEC ready backs. And Bo Walker coming in as a true freshman in his first handful of practices at Georgia and being able to impress like that and operate against our defense, Like, that's a really positive sign. And I'm here to tell you that that guy can play. He's going to play snaps for us this year. I firmly believe that. But another guy that I did not anticipate seeing him in this role and playing the way that he did over the weekend was Dwight Phillips Jr. So I talked about him in the lead of the season. We did our running back spring practice primer, got that preview of that position. He's a guy that, he's incredibly athletic, incredibly fast, like home run level speed, like just ridiculous speed, track level type stuff. Like I think 200 meters, something like that. So the guy is lightning fast. But he wasn't very big last year, right? So we found ways to try to get him involved in the offense with some jet sweeps, some fly sweep action, that kind of stuff. But I have had questions about, like, is he a guy that we can actually line in the backfield and run between the tackles, like actually run our offense, or is he more of a guy that's going to be a special, like a third down guy, like we see with Cash Jones? Maybe going to take Cash Jones' role once Cash Jones moves on. And Cash is still with us, which is great because Cash is an incredibly valuable player. But Dwight Phillips, man, talk about electricity and explosiveness. This dude is that personified. And he did it between the tackles over the weekend. Did it between the tackles, just run some inside zone stuff, bust a couple of, I want to say about at least 50, 60 yards, maybe even lower than that, but just bust a couple of really long ones, man. And once he gets in the open field, no one is catching Dwight Phillips Jr. It's just not happening. No one on our team's going to catch him. If no one on our team's catching him, ain't nobody out there in the country catching this guy. Just a different level of explosiveness. And that is a really encouraging thing for me coming into the season, because not to say that we haven't had some explosive runs the past couple years, but certainly not to the degree that we had back when we had DeAndre Swift. And I know, like, Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel, like, those are all-timers. And what we saw from them in 2017, like, that's almost an impossible standard, the way that we're just breaking off explosive run for explosive run. That we'll probably never see that again. Probably not. I mean, maybe crazy things happen, but I'm not anticipating ever seeing that again. But the explosiveness from the running back position just hasn't been what it was, right? Again, we've had some explosive runs, just not as many. That might be a thing in the past, guys. I mean, Nate Frazier, we saw some explosiveness from him last year. Go back to the Clemson game, week 1, right? Breaks off that crazy run, the cutback. Awesome in the second half there. But Dwight Phillips, as explosive as Nate Frazier is, it's a different level, man. It's a different level. So that's exciting to see. Like, I knew he had that type of athleticism, but to see him do it between the tackles, which is a question I had for him, that's good news for Georgia. That's good news for Georgia. Certainly a position where we need to have bodies ready to play. And you throw in Dylan Bell there as well. We've seen him be explosive in that position going back to 2023. All right, let's stick with the offense here. Got a couple more positions to look at. Tight end. Jaden Riddell, I thought looked really good. Obviously, okay, Lawson Lucky, Riddell, they're awesome. Like, those are the top two guys right now. But, Georgia plays more than two tight ends. I mean, we've done that for years now. And so I thought it was going to be very interesting, like, who is going to be that third tight end that we saw, like, with Benjamin Rostic a year ago, who we vastly underutilized. But we do play at least 3 tight ends and maybe even 4 tight ends. We rotate these guys in if they earn it. So Jaden Riddell is a guy that I really liked coming out of high school. I was very curious to see what he would be in year 2. And, I mean, he's looking the part right now, guys. I mean, he's filled out his frame some. I don't know if he was strong enough at the point of attack a year ago, but he's gotten bigger, gotten stronger. He's always had the athleticism. He's always had that contested catch ability. So I like what I'm seeing from him. Ellis Williams, the freakish fringe 5-star freshman, depending on what recruiting service you look at, out of Camden County High School here in Georgia. I mean, guys, he is unlike anyone else that we have on our roster. There's no one else on our roster that looks like Ellis Williams and can do the things that Ellis Williams can do. I know everyone wants to compare him to Darnell Washington because play tight end, really tall, right? I mean, Ellis is like 6'7". Darnell was like 6'8". I don't think that's the right comparison because he's not nearly as thick, like physical and built as Darnell Washington. Like, he is a true hybrid tight end, like a mover tight end, just in like a 6'7" frame. I'm telling you, we're going to feed this guy in the red zone. And we're defending Georgia in the red zone this year. I mean, good luck. Good luck, guys. I mean, I'm dead serious, man. I love what we have at running back, and then you throw Colby Young, I love him with his contested catchability. Noah Thomas at 6'6" with his contested catchability, and you throw Ellis Williams out there. I don't know, man. I don't know how you defend Georgia. I really don't when we get in the red zone in this situation this year. So we have weapons that we just haven't had. Like, those type of weapons in the red zone, we have not had those kind of guys. There's certainly not that many of them. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to play a ton on a down-to-down basis. But I think we're going to have a package for him, certainly in the red zone, because he just had, again, he can do things right now that other guys on our team simply cannot do. They just cannot do those things, physically speaking. Now, he's got to learn what to do, and I don't think he's much of an inline tight end right now. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. That's not what that guy does. But if you have a package for him, maybe a big third down, and you want to get him ISO'd on somebody out wide, just throw him the football. Like, I think he can see the field that way. I think more of like a specialty role, like situational role. But I mean, I would not. In fact, at this point, I would say I'd be surprised if he didn't make some big plays for Georgia this year. Again, I'm not saying that he's going to be like a guy's going to be in the top 2 of our tight end depth chart. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anyone should expect that. But situationally, can he help Georgia this year? Yes. Why? Because again, he can do things that nobody else on our roster can do, and he can do things that can absolutely help us win football games. They're going to be really, really hard for any defense out there to defend. So I wanted to mention him there real quick. And then offensive line, man, we know what the offensive line was last year. It was Struggle City, USA, man. And we had a bunch of dudes who are playing in the NFL. Like, we know Tate Rather's been playing in the NFL. Jared Wilson probably be the first center off the board now after what he did at the NFL Combine. I think that Dylan Fairchild's been playing in the NFL. Xavier Truss, we'll see. He's at the Combine, so will he get drafted? Probably late. Will he make a team? I don't know. We'll see, but he's got a shot. We're losing a bunch of guys. So if we were bad last year, at times, I don't say we were always bad, but yeah, man, at times with Ole Miss game, I still have nightmares. I don't keep saying that, but I still have nightmares over that game. How are we going to be better this year, right? Well, you have to think about the context. As we talked about this year, I previewed the offensive line. It's not a video that got a bunch of views because I know people like it's the least sexy position to preview, but I do think it's the most important position right now because we can't block anybody. It doesn't matter what we have at receiver. It doesn't matter what we have at running back. It doesn't matter who we have at quarterback. It doesn't matter who our offensive coordinator is if we can't block anybody. We saw that last year against Ole Miss, guys. Like, I don't care if we had if Todd Monken, I know everyone's like, Jesus Christ Almighty to a lot of people out there. If we had Todd Monken in that game, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered because we couldn't block anybody, right? So we got to get that fixed. That's my number one priority coming to spring. We've got to get that fixed. And I'm a long way from saying like it's fixed, but what I will say is I feel like we're going to be in much better hands at the tackle position, which for my money, that was the biggest issue for us last year. I thought the interior, especially when healthy, was good for us. Even when they were healthy, they were solid. Our issues were at tackle. That was where the problem was. And part of that was injury. Part of that was youth. It was a combination of things. But regardless of what the reason was, we've simply got to be better there. Like, we can't make excuses. We've got to be better there. And I was not thrilled when I found out that Monroe Freeling was one of the 507,000 people on our roster this year going to spring practice that's going to miss spring with a labrum surgery. And he was banged up last year, so tip of the cap to the guy for gutting it out. I know it wasn't a great look against Notre Dame, but he probably shouldn't have been out there on the field. He was just gutting it out for us, so you got to appreciate that. So he's a guy that I still feel very strongly about. I feel like he has the potential to be a really, really, really good left tackle. Athleticism, length, all those things. Now been in our system for 3 years. It will be his 3rd year. So I was hopeful he'd take a big jump this year when he was healthy. But him not being here for spring practice, does that stunt his growth a little bit? Yeah, to a degree. But he's been through a couple spring practices, so he'll probably be okay there. But what his absence has done at left tackle, because Ernest Green's getting most of his reps at right tackle, sliding inside a little bit at times, which I think is more of a guard, been saying that for years, but he's getting most of his reps at right tackle, which if he's going to play tackle, that's where he needs to be. He can't play left tackle. I know that's where he started his first years. He didn't have the footwork, the athleticism to play left tackle. We got way better options that are way more prototypes for that position than Ernest Green. Stay at right tackle, Ernest. If you're not going to slide inside, we're good there. But left tackle, with Freeling not participating in practice right now, 2 guys getting a ton of reps out there. Bo Hughley and Ja Jackson, the guy that was like the semi-pro overtime elite basketball player, like 6'10", freak of an athlete that we signed very, very late in the 2024 recruiting class, like at the last minute right before fall camp. That guy, along with Bo Hughley, who's been in the system for a while now, a former really highly rated guy coming out of high school that we held off Auburn. Like, they came on strong at the end there. We were able to hold them off. Those 2 guys, physically speaking, man, they are both very, very talented. I think Ja Jackson just physically, from a physical standpoint, just has tools that maybe Bo Hughley doesn't have. But Bo's really, really good in his own right. And Bo is certainly ahead of Ja right now in terms of understanding the system and from a technique standpoint. But Ja's coming along there, man. Like, that was the big wild card. Like, we know physically what this guy can do. But, like, how much time is he going to need to develop? Because this guy didn't play football like 4 years prior to coming in last year. Like, how long is that going to take? Well, I heard some really good things about him as the season progressed last year, coming out of practice. Like, hey, this guy's maybe coming along faster than we anticipated he was. And right now, I'm telling you, man, like, that guy, he's got a shot to play for us this year. I would not put him as, like, I wouldn't project him to be the starter right now. I would not. But if he keeps developing at the rate he is right now, like he's going to make it hard to keep him off the field. There might be some sort of tackle rotation going on this year because I think that Freeland can play. I know Freeland can play. I feel very strong about that when he's healthy, especially going to year 3. Well, Hughley's looking good right now. Jackson's looking good. Green's looking better now that he's a little bit healthier. So is there going to be, could we have a 4-man rotation, or maybe it's a 3-man rotation at tackle? We've done that in the past, certainly on the inside at guard. We've done it at tackle at times as well. So that wouldn't surprise me. Another guy to throw in here too, man, like Juan Gaston, the freshman offensive tackle. I always say, of all the positions on the football field anywhere, the positions where I'm most skeptical of true freshmen coming and making an impact right away are the lines of scrimmage, offensive line, defensive line, because it's just a grown man's league. And yeah, you might have dominated in high school because you're going up against like 225-pound dudes playing nose tackle or defensive end. But like that's not what you're going to see in the SEC, right? Like you're just not quite ready for that. Like you got to get in the weight room, you got to get bigger, you got to get stronger, all those things. I don't know if that's the case right now with Juan Gaston, man. Like physically, he's kind of already there. My question about him coming into college was, is he going to drop some weight? Because he was way too big, like way too heavy. He had bad weight. And that happens sometimes when you're that physically dominant. Like you don't have to be in the best of shape because you're just so much bigger and better and stronger than the guys you're playing against, right? You get away with it. With college level, you can't get away with it. And he's gotten his weight down. I think he's got a little bit more to go, but he's gotten his weight down. He's moving really well. And again, physically speaking, he's there. So it's kind of like with Josh Jackson. I don't know if he's going to be able to do enough to put himself in the lineup when you got guys like Monroe Freeling, who's been around for a while, Ernest Green's been around for a while, Bo Hughley hasn't played a ton, but he's been around for a while. Are you going to be able to jump over those guys? The odds say probably not, but again, if we're going to have a tackle rotation, I think he's going to throw his name in the ring there and at least contend for that. And we saw what we had in the offensive line last year, guys. All the injuries we had. So many injuries. So it's just great this year that in the event that we do suffer more injuries at the tackle position like we had a year ago, we are in way better shape to withstand those injuries and plug guys in that can play at a high level in the SEC. So that's really encouraging right now. On the interior, I thought Drew Bobo. I know a lot of people are skeptical of Drew Bobo because it's like the Nepo baby, right? Like he's only playing because Mike Bobo is his dad. He's offensive coordinator. Mike Bobo's only offensive coordinator because he's Kirby's best buddy. So it's like double Nepo baby for Drew Bobo. I told you guys last year, I think Drew Bobo can play a little bit, man. I was impressed for the most part. I'm not saying he was perfect last year. When he got opportunities, I thought he looked pretty good for us. And he was playing more guard when he got opportunities. We got the one start at center, but against Ole Miss had to come in and play a little bit of guard, and that's not really his natural position. He's more of a center. He's looking good right now. Is he as good as Jared Wilson? No. Like he's not going to be the first center taken in next year's NFL draft. Like that's not going to happen. But I don't think there's going to be some massive drop off there. I think we're going to be just fine. Bobo's been in the system for a long time. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. He knows what to do. And like the number one priority at center is like you are like the quarterback of the offensive line. You've got to know what to do. You got to know everyone's supposed to be doing. You got to be that cerebral assassin out there. And a guy that's been in the system for a long time, he might not be as physically gifted as Jared Wilson, certainly not, but he's been around and he knows what to do out there. And that's saying a lot for a center. You need that in your center. So that's the offense, guys. Let's flip over to the defensive side of the football here for a few minutes. I'm going to look at cornerback because I think cornerback is maybe the most wide open position there is right now on this defense. Dalen Everett, we know when he's healthy, he's going to have one of those spots locked down. I thought he progressed tremendously as last year went along. I thought he was great for us down the stretch, and I expect a huge year at Dalen Everett. But he's one of many guys that's not practicing this spring. He's limited. He's not out there doing really anything right now. So on Thursday, it was Ellis Robinson, who I know everyone loved, right? Number 2 recruit in the 2024 recruiting class. We're waiting on this guy to jump out and like be that dominant player for us at cornerback. But it didn't really happen last year. We're kind of keeping our fingers crossed, especially with what we saw from the cornerback position early last year, in particular Julio Humphrey, who's no longer with the team. And there were some people just longing to see more of Ellis Robinson. It just didn't really happen because physically he wasn't there, right? If you're going to play corner for Georgia, yeah, you got to cover. It's kind of a prerequisite, but you also have to be able to play with physicality on the outside in the perimeter run game and against the perimeter screen game. And he was just a smallish guy, slider frame. He just wasn't ready for that last year. And if you can't do that, you're not going to play for Kirby at that position. It's just not going to happen. He's gotten bigger. He's still not a big guy. He's still a pretty slight frame, but it looks like he's gotten a little bit stronger built. He's filled his frame a little bit more this year. So I know everyone wants to see him, and I think the world of the guy. I think he's going to be awesome for us. But I would also say, I've been saying this for a year now. I'm going to reiterate it now after this weekend. Don't sleep on DeMello Jones. DeMelo can straight up play. Ellis is awesome. This is not me saying Ellis sucks. Okay, it's kind of like with the Gunnar Stockton situation in quarterback. When I compliment Ryan Puglisi, it's not me saying Gunnar Stockton sucks. Same thing here. When I compliment DeMelo Jones, I'm not saying Ellis Robinson is not going to live up to the hype, or Ellis Robinson was overrated. That's not what I'm saying. Ellis is awesome. Ellis is probably the best cover guy on the team, probably. But DeMelo is really good, man. I think he's a little bit more physical too right now. He can also cover really well. Really good athlete, really smooth athlete. Really like the guy, man. So those are two guys on Thursday with Ellis or with Everett not practicing. Those are two guys with the number one defense out there at practice. Now, there's a rotation there. Daniel Harris is out there later on in the week when they're doing walkthroughs on Saturday. So I think that position battle is wide open. So again, when Everett's healthy, he's got one spot. The other spot, I don't know, man. It's completely up in the air. I think that's wide open. That's a battle that's going to go. That will not be decided this spring. That will certainly go into fall camp. And I don't even know if it'll be decided in fall camp. Like, it's that close between those guys. We know that certainly Daniel Harris has more experience than either DeMelo or Ellis, more experience than both those guys combined. And his length is something ridiculous. Like, Ellis has got good length. He doesn't have Daniel Harris level length. And Harris is taller, longer, all that stuff. Ellis, I think, just in terms of like his ability to like stick on a guy and just not let that guy have any room to breathe whatsoever. I think he's probably the best cover guy. But again, DeMelo is a really good cover guy. I think he's a little bit more physical line of scrimmage. I don't know, man. That's going to be a fascinating battle to watch play out. Again, we might see a rotation there at cornerback at that position, and that might take a couple of weeks. And we had the benefit of a lighter schedule to open the season this year. We don't open with a Clemson. So you have some time to get all those guys some reps and see who do you like most out there when the schedule, to the point when the schedule really heats up when you go to Tennessee week 3, which I don't know how I feel about that. Going to Tennessee week 3, I'm not used to playing them in September. It's going to be freaking 900,000 degrees in Knoxville, Tennessee. But hey, we'll hope for a night game, right? But yeah, man, I think that's probably gonna go into the season, that battle there. But the good news is we have really good options. We have great options there, and whoever wins that job is going to win that job because they're one hell of a football player, because they got some serious competition there at that position. Linebacker, you guys know I love my linebackers. Chris Cole, we talked about him in the lead up to the season. He was one of my 10 players to watch. He was able to play for us some last year when Smile Monday went down with injury. He got into our defense with more of a situational third down role and did really well in that role. Certainly the game at Texas the first time around, played really well in that game. And he's just a freakish athlete. I see a lot of Quay Walker in him. I think he has the ability to rush the passer. He's tall, long, athletic. He can also play off-the-ball linebacker. He's just a versatile athlete. And if you want to compare to Jalen Walker, and I think he can do a lot of things that Jalen Walker did in terms of both being able to rush the passer and playing off-the-ball inside linebacker. But he's a different kind of, he's longer. He's taller. He's longer than Jalen. Jalen's sawed off. Now, Jalen, I mean, Buckus Award winner, the production speaks for itself, but just a different kind of guy. So I've been sky high on Chris Cole really coming into last year and what I saw from him last year, and certainly coming into this year. But Justin Williams, let's not forget, the number one linebacker in the country in the 2024 recruiting class, 5-star guy, big-time recruit in his own right, just had to kind of learn what to do last year, and it was a little thin. Last year, he had to put on some weight, and he's done that. I think both those guys are going to play a lot this year. They're going to be in the rotation, inside linebacker. Chris Cole, I think, is going to play third downs for us situationally as well. So I don't think either one of those guys are going to start for us this year. I think we're going to open the season with C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson. But C.J. is going to start for us all year. C.J. is like the leader on the defense right now. Raylan is a really talented player. His instincts sometimes for his first 2 years have created some questions for me. Like, he's been a guy that's been victimized with poor eye discipline time and time again. But when he knows what to do, the guy is a really good inside linebacker, very, very talented. So I think he's going to open the season, if I had to project right now. But I'll also say it would not completely shock me if at some point this season, either Chris Cole or Justin Williams took over that starting job. I think they're all four going to play. They're all going to play. It's just more a matter of like, what does it look like? And what does the two deep actually look like? Who's starting? Who's coming off the bench? Who's playing what role situationally? They're all going to play, but those two are studs, man. And our inside linebacker room is just straight up loaded. And Chris Jones, also, we recruited him initially as an inside linebacker. He's now playing some edge for us, a lot of edge for us there. So we'll see how he continues to progress at that position. Justin Green. So that position I've been kind of concerned about with TID, Tyrone Ingram Dawkins, moving on to the NFL. the NFL, what are we going to do at 5 tech? Joseph Jonah Ajanye is a guy that I feel very strongly about. He's going to be a big-time player for us at that position, but he's still kind of coming back from that foot injury that cost him most of last year. He got a lot of run for us in fall camp last year, spring practice as well, because we were banged up at the 5 tech at that time as well. He played some for us early last year, then suffered the foot injury, and then he missed the rest of the year. He's going to play for us a lot. He'll probably start for us at that position if I had to project right now. But we need depth there. Like, we got to have guys. And Justin Green is the guy that I think is going to help us there at the 5 tech. He's got the frame for it. Is he a Michael Williams type athlete? No, he's not. But he's a guy that can certainly help us, especially against the run in those standout situations. So this guy that kind of I was looking for there, like, do we have guys that can help us there? I think he can be part of that equation. And yes, I know everyone wants to know about Elijah Griffin. Get a lot of questions about him all the time. I go back to what I said with Juan Gasson. When we're talking about freshmen making impacts on the lines of scrimmage, I'm always very skeptical. But again, like Juan Gaston, I might have to make an exception here because Elijah Griffin, physically speaking, is there right now. He can play in the SEC right now from just a size, physicality standpoint, strength to the point of attack, all of that. And his athleticism, his twitch at that position is off the charts, man. Like, I don't want to put like Jalen Carter on him. I don't want to say, hey, Jalen Carter, put those expectations on him. I don't want to do that. But he's got the athleticism and twitch, kind of like that, man. The power, the twitch, athleticism, all that combination in a 3 tech body, he's got that. I don't think he'll start for us this year. He's getting some more opportunities right now because Christian Miller is out. He's not playing. Xavier McLeod, by the way, is looking really good. He was a guy that I was very excited about seeing what he was going to look like this spring, and he's looking the part, man. That guy is really taking some serious strides, and he's going to be a difference maker for us as well. So we have bodies there and guys that can play at a high level for us. So I don't think Elijah Griffin's going to start for us this year, but I do think he's going to play. I think he's going to be in a rotation there, and I think as the season goes on, he's going to get better and better and better and better. So yeah, the hype is real on Elijah Griffin. The guy is a monster. There's a reason why he's number 1 defensive tackle in the entire country. I know it would have been great to have him and Justice Terry. I know that would have been great. But if I had to pick one of them, I told you guys a long time ago, even before Justice Terry spurned us the last second to go to Texas, even before that happened, I was telling you guys, if I had to pick one of them, I want Elijah Griffin. And that's being reinforced right now because that dude, he's different, man. That dude is different. So there you go, guys. There you go. Those are some practice notes for you coming out of the Coaches Clinic over the weekend. Hope you guys enjoy this. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now if you're a diehard fan, because that's what we do, guys. We produce content for you guys, most diehard Georgia fans out there on planet Earth. Like, comment, all those things, and check out our full podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify. We have a lot more content, Georgia football content, Georgia baseball content. Don't look now, guys. The Diamond Dogs are looking the part. Just swept Florida for the first time in Gainesville since 2006. Now 5-1 the SEC. Was at 24-2 overall now? Off the top of my head, I want to say. They are looking the part. Pitching is finally starting to come around in 2 dominant starts, one from Brian Curley on Saturday and Leighton Finley today. Awesome stuff, guys. Love to see that. So, yeah, we got baseball content. I know basketball season's kind of over. We'll have a full recap of the Georgia basketball season, which unfortunately ended on Thursday. So, a ton of content for Georgia fans out there. Whatever sport you're looking for. Of course, we cover football more than anything. That's what we do. But a lot more than just football, guys, on the Glory UJ podcast. So, thank you guys so much for being here. Always appreciate each and every one of you. I'm Tyler, and as always, go Dogs!